Do you have a practice that you are doing daily to connect with your breath and through your thoughts and emotions and intention with who you are, with your higher self? A few deep breaths and connecting to knowing that you are part of all the energy that is. I want to give you something to think about. Think about a piece of ice. And if you imagine yourself as a piece of ice, and maybe something happens and you melt onto the ground, but you are still that same water that was ice. And then the sun warms you and you evaporate and you turn into a gaseous fluid. And as a gas, you mingle and mix with all that is in the universe. And then it gets heavy and rains you back down to the ground, back to a puddle, and then you reform into ice, taking with you some of the pieces of others that you found in the field that you felt that you could use moving forward. Have you stepped into a daily practice of allowing yourself to be part of the energy of all that is? And recognizing as the energy of all that is, you chose to come down and be in a physical body and have this experience however it's going. Daily connection, which is why I wanted to do a 30-day challenge to myself, although I've had a daily practice for years, to possibly inspire others to remember that we're connected, that mastermind, joining with others, daily reminders, however we do it, is part of the connection to who we are and all that is, and the magic of all we can be. So, and in that being living from intention and circling back into the astrology and the blueprint and the knowing your numerology, I want to say a little bit about Saturn, because you may or may not have heard about a Saturn return. Saturn takes between 28 and 30 years to do a full circle, his orbit of the sun. So while Saturn takes 28 to 30 years to go around, approximately every 7 years, Saturn squares where he was in your natal chart and checks in to see if you're on your path or not. Of course, your first 7 years, Saturn checks in and you're a child and you're going to school and you're learning to read and write and you've tied your shoes and you're interacting with others. And then 7 more years, you're 14 and you've started, I was going to say menopause, forgive me. You've started puberty and, or you've, moved into a young adult and you've had some challenges and hormones, and Saturn is, noticing and nudging you in one direction possibly or another. 7 years, 21, 22 years old, you're an adult and you are starting out on your path, or you're not, and Saturn's checking in to find out if you are moving along as your soul chose. And then around 28 to 30 years, Saturn is right back at his natal point in your chart. And if you're not on your path, you might notice some large event during that time in your life. And then again, in the next 28 to 30 years, the second Saturn return. So Saturn is another aspect that you kind of, in my perspective, want to look at in your chart. Maybe your Saturn is well aspected and sitting next to Jupiter and just giving you gifts. And maybe you're, on a great path and Saturn is just happy with you all along. But now, what I know, when I was born, Saturn started moving forward and then Saturn retrograded back. I had issues shortly after I was born in my third or fourth month. So I see where Saturn went back and hit my chart even in that young age. So that is another thing that I would suggest that you kind of check out your chart on astro.com and see where your Saturn is aspected and where you are in your Saturn return cycles. So let's see what Saturn has to say in the cards for us today. I don't know if you saw Mars last year in the sky. Mars was orange. I noticed him in October, and I watched him all through January until I could no longer see his color anymore and pick him out in the sky. It was amazing. Let's see what Saturn has for us today. The Two of Cups is the card of a perfect match. It is the card of love. It is the card of connecting with our higher selves. It's the card of knowing that we need to step into the gifts that bring us love, the things that we love to do, connect with our higher self, realize that we are that energy. Fascinating. Even in this time, in this difficult time, we chose to be here at this time for a purpose. I've talked about this Five of Pentacles before. He wears a bell because he is a leper. So that card is really pertinent to the times that we're in right now. And the fact that we came here as workers, guiders, angels to, I mean, not that we have to be angels, because I'm no angel, but we came here to be angels, to follow our calling and to step into our gifts and the purpose that we came to be in this life experience at this particular time for. I am doing this because I am called to do it. Not because I think I'm great at it, not because I think but the cards told me, get out there and do your purpose. That's what you were meant to do in this lifetime, at this time, right now, in this most difficult time on the planet. Thanks.